Hi, friends. I'm Giggles, Little Ball of Giggles, and reading all of your guys' questions to me is none other than MrCreepyPasta.
Correct.
You said that as if you're not MrCreepyPasta. And it's
I'm not. I'm
I guess
I'm somebody who sounds strikingly similar.
I hired a voice impersonator, just to be MrCreepyPasta for this video. It's by the time this video goes up, it will be April Fool's Day. So.
Oh, is this actually going to be posted April Fool's Day?
Yeah, I that's why I'm having us do it today, so that it goes on tomorrow.
That's clever. Okay, cool. So we'll be posting for April Fool's Day. So I'm not Mr. Creepypasta then.
Yeah, no, it's not opposite day, you ding dong. It's April Fool's Day.
Yeah, surprise! I actually am, you fool, April Fool.
April Fools. That means I have to answer all these questions with an April Fool's. Like, oh yeah, that was a really tragic incident in my life. April Fools! Okie dokie. Spike, you want to read out to me a question?
No.
Oh.
April Fool. Okay,
Uh-huh.
Forsaken X Scarface 1981 asks, what made you realize that narrating was your thing?
Oh, man. I think it was you and Creeps, actually, Spike.
Heck yeah.
Because you guys were the first narrators I ever listened to. And then I wanted to try it because I was really into voice acting as a teenager. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. And I like horror, and, you know, it was part of acting. So, yeah, it was just kind of flowed.
Flued?
That word.
That's not a word.
Flowed. Flowed's a word, right?
Well, aside from narration, what do you like to do for fun?
Right now it's video games. But I really like acting. Acting is a job, but it's also very fun. It's gotten to the point where like sometimes I'll do a monologue just to be able to do it, because it's just fun to me to enunciate and feel what the character's feeling and stuff, and just making, creating something and being like, oh, I wonder if people will like this character one day, or like script writing, all that jazz.
Okay, well, Alice in Wonder, not Land.
Cute username.
Just Wonder.
Not Land.
Asks, how did you get into voice acting?
Oh man, I was 14 years old when I like really started. And it was on this really old website that's like all buggy now and no one like goes on it, called Voice Acting Alliance. Don't go on it. It's like all virusy and glitchy and gross and no one uses it. But I started going on there when I was like 14-ish. And then I think I got my first official role when I was like 15. And then kind of like as the years went on, I auditioned for more things, got into it. And then at some point I started getting like some paid gigs here and there, which was really nice.
And so is your career goal to be a professional voice actor? Actor?
Oh, man. Oh, wait. Sorry?
Actor?
It used to be. My career goal as a teenager was, like, to be a voice actor. That's all I wanted. It would be really nice to have, but my big career goal is mainly to do musical theater. I'm more of a theater person, like TV, commercials. I have a commercial agent. That would be really nice to like make bankin', but like the real deal is the musical theater thing, for a short answer.
So you like musicals?
How could you tell?
When is the next Lily Madwhip coming out?
That's more of a question for you.
That's a question for you, all right?
For me?
Whenever you want to do the next Lily Madwhip.
Oh,
like, okay.
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to like step on your toes.
I just don't want to do like more than two in a month, which means that we're going the next month. So whenever you're ready, you can do more.
Oh, then yes, shoot him over, dude. I'll do him like pretty soon.
Heck yeah.
It's not like we could be doing much else, right?
Oh, we can actually. Yeah. Tim Willis asks, how tall are you?
I'm 5'2".
Don't
I'm a
lie,
shorty.
You're like 3'4".
I'm not a child.
You multiple times. You're like 3 feet at most.
No.
At most. What is something no one knows about you that you want to share? That you want to share.
Oh my gosh, something no one knows about me.
It includes me, something I don't know.
What's something that you don't know about me?
That's a terrible question to ask me. Giggles.
Well, yeah. Well, because you're like Spike's like my big brother. So I don't know. You know a lot about me. What do you not know about me? Let me see. Okay, I gotta get it together and think about this. Oh, here's something that not I don't think I've ever really told anybody outside of my household this. I occasionally like pieces of pineapple on pepperoni pizza.
Gross.
It's okay, not a lot, just like one or two like little wedges of pineapple. That's it.
Ew.
Very exciting.
Uh, okay, so you already answered this one kind of. Do you play video games? You said that's your is something you enjoy doing.
Yes,
But if
I
so,
do play video
what
games.
is your favorite?
Oh man, so Pokemon has been like my number one since I was like 5. Haven't played a lot of Pokemon recently though. I would say right now it's definitely Animal Crossing. Spike got me into that. Thanks.
Wait, you've played Animal Crossing before, haven't you?
No, this is the first time I've ever played Animal
Are
Crossing.
you joking? I actually assumed that you were messing with me when you're like, oh yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna like this. And I think like, cause I assumed like, oh, she's played this on 3DS before. That's why I got it for you.
Oh, no, I've never played it before. And then I was like, shoot, I was like, Spike spent like, he paid money for it, I guess. I don't know how you get those things. And so I was like, I guess I gotta play it now. And I played it, fell in love with it. It's like right up my alley with the crafting and like customizing and yeah. But before that, I was like perfectly content playing Project Zomboid. But now I'm like taking a hiatus from that and just committing to Animal Crossing.
You gotta finish your outdoor theater.
I know. Oh, I started getting little audience seating.
Oh, that's cute. I gotta see your island again. See what you've been doing.
Yeah, you got to come over again. I got to show you because there's been updates.
Okay, so there's King Kevin asks, and I'm assuming this is going to be. Well, he asked what inspired you to get into YouTube. So, outside of narrating, because you kind of answered it a little bit.
God. Originally, I wanted to just talk about in my opinion, unique viewpoints on God and the church and, what's morally right, black, white, and gray and stuff like that. I really wanted to start a YouTube channel just to creatively express that you can worship God without a worship song. And then, I kind of found that, not everybody, who is equipped to, witness to people have to, it's not always like that. You don't just have to make little vlogs. Sometimes you just have to live your life and be that example. And I feel like I was being called more towards that rather than actually preaching things, because that's not where my gifting is. But that's what originally inspired me. And I also wanted to do a lot of other things like sketch comedy and animation. I wanted to publish more scripts out there if I was confident enough to go through more drafts. But I'm working on that. Yeah, that's pretty much what it was.
Cool. I think I don't know how many videos you've posted with your own artwork, but anybody who's watching this, check out some of Giggles' artwork on. I think you post them on Twitter. Posted a couple of your pictures.
Yeah, I posted some. I post some on Instagram, especially because I just got Clip Studio Paint, and I had more. Raven got me into it, and I was like, oh, they have a sale. I better snag that right now. So I've been doing more.
Super cute stuff. It's really cute.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
How long have you been doing videos for? So when was it that you started your YouTube channel when you first started your YouTube channel?
Oh my gosh, I was 16. That's almost 10 years ago. So about 8 years. Jeez. I've been on YouTube for 8 years. Sheesh.
Wait, so
that means we've known each other for about that length of time too, because I met you right after I started.
So in that case, 49 Giants was asking how old are you, which is a question you don't ask a lady. You never ask a lady how her age.
You can ask me because I'm always gonna look like a teenager no matter how old I get. I know I look 16. I'm not. I'm actually 24.
And what is your dream role?
I bet Spike. I bet you know this. Right now, it's Lydia Dietz in Beetlejuice the Musical.
I was gonna say it's gotta be either Lydia or it would have to be what's her nuts from Heathers, but you've already played her too.
Yeah. Oh, Veronica. Yeah.
Veronica from Heathers.
She is technically, because I just got to be her for one day. Performance-wise. So I would love to be her again and have another shot at her. So yeah, she's up there. I'd also really like to be Anne Boleyn from the musical 6. I could go for other ones too, but she just seems like the most fun one. But right now, for the most part, it's Lydia Dietz. I'd kill to be her. Oh my goodness.
Okay, what's your
Not
boyfriend's
literally.
name?
Who?
What's your boyfriend's name?
I don't have a boyfriend.
So what's his name?
I don't have one. His name is George Glass.
George Glass?
Do you get that joke?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, you haven't seen like the new Brady Bunch movies?
No, did you say Brady
Oh,
Bunch movie?
Yeah, well, okay, they're like old now, but like, they're not like the old TV show. There's a joke where Marsha's really popular and she's like, "Oh, so Jan, like, do you have a boyfriend?" And Jan's like, "Yeah, I have a boyfriend." And she's like, "Oh, well, what's his name?" And she's like, George Glass." And, he's like a non-existent person. He's not real. But she gives him a name anyway. And so Marsha's like, "Oh, okay, if I see George, I guess I'll know it." You're so stupid.
Okay. George Glass, nice. Okay.
George Glass.
And how did you and I meet? I don't even recall this, so I want to hear your story.
Wait, me and
you and Mr. Creepypasta.
Oh, you don't remember how we met? Okay, this is a dream. Okay, buckle up, Spike.
Okay.
So, we met back in the day. I had like the lamest idea ever, which was making reactions to creepypasta, which is such a bad idea when you really think about it, because it's just a person staring in front of like one image for like, I don't know, like 5 to 30 minutes, or maybe not 30 back then, but for a long time, just commenting in between the narrator. And I think that was interesting enough to you, and Creeps commented once as well, and that's when you noticed me, I think, because you commented and you were like, "Oh wow, this is so cool, this is so unique, so original, no one's ever done this before." And at the time I was like, "Oh my gosh, Mr. Creepypasta commented on my video, wow, like how inspiring." And then at some point, like, this is the funny part of how we met, though, like how we like became friends, because I got like invited to join some other people on Skype, and then they knew people who knew one guy who had me and you, Mr. Creepypasta, on a stream one time, and that's how we met over voice chatting. And like at the time, my username on YouTube back then was a different name. It wasn't LittleBallOfGiggles, but I was going by Giggles on Skype. So you met me as Giggles, and then you were also interacting with me on YouTube, and you thought we were two different people. But it was really just
was
me.
It? Okay.
Yeah. I think I had to write that down in my diary because I thought it was that funny that you were talking to me like twice without realizing that it was me both times.
Jeez,
and then I think it was like 4 months. It was like a really long time before you were like, "Wait, your morals and virtues on YouTube?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like the whole time I thought you knew. And then you were like, "Oh, that makes so much sense." And so that's
I have no memory
the big
of
exciting
this.
story.
I have no memory of this.
That's fine. I just wrote it down, and that's honestly how I remember it, because it was just that funny to me that we were talking for so long and you didn't figure it out for that long.
To be fair, like there's like a lot of you guys who are like my friends for so long. I don't remember.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and
we've just always known each other because it's been so many years.
Yeah, it's been busy. We've seen a lot of people come and go.
Yeah, that's true.
But oh my gosh, that just such a funny story to me.
Okay, GFish17 asks, this is kind of like I guess a lengthier question, but if a YouTube animator chose to animate a story you have already narrated, would you want? Would you want? Oh, who would you want your supporting voice cast to be?
Oh, can it be me?
Yeah, I think your supporting voice cast is what they're asking about. So like.
Oh, supporting. Yeah. Okay, I would get you. You have really good delivery.
Thank you.
I would also get Drake. He also, like, Drake is my go-to bad guy. If I need a bad guy voice, I go to Drake, because he's like, "Give me all the villains," and I'm like, "You got it, Drake."
Really?
Yes.
Like I want to be villains. I've only used
I know.
Like a few different things.
I'd rather be like a hero, like, like there's people that you ask, "Oh, would you rather be the good guy or the bad guy?" And like I'm one of the people who's like, "Oh, all the time I choose the good guy. I like protagonists." But Drake is like, "No, I just want to be the bad guy. Give me all the antagonists." And I'm like, "Okay, perfect," because I'm the opposite.
No, I feel that,
I would also have Hootie. Hootie was my go-to bad guy, but then he had a daughter, so I was like, I feel bad giving him bad guy roles. So I actually have one story that's lined up that I'm waiting on one person's lines for, where Hootie is a good guy with me and Drake is the bad guy.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. And maybe Stephanie Swanquills too, just because I want to get another girl in this list. Her or Autumn, or both. Wait, it could be both. Autumn has a really great sense of character, and Stephanie has a very soothing voice. It's the dream team.
Fuzzums McFuzzface asks, is there anything you absolutely wouldn't do or say while acting? Also, I dare you to answer the question in Lily Madwip's voice.
Oh my gosh, this is going to be so weird.
Lily Madwip's character, because her voice is almost your talking voice, like a little bit higher.
Sorta, yeah, she's just a little more, like, airheady, meandering. It's a little difficult to explain Lily's voice. Kind of nasally, kind of back in the throat-ish. I guess things that I wouldn't say while acting are... I've come to terms with it that I'd be okay with saying a variety of curse words, even though I am not particularly a person who enjoys cursing. But one thing I will never say is I'll never take God's name in vain. So I'm okay with saying, like, oh my God, but I won't say, like, God and then, dang,
Dang.
I don't want to, I would never say that. It's kind of funny. I'd rather say the F word than take God's name in vain. And I have.
You've said the F word?
Yeah, and Heather's.
Well, I'm going to tell your mom.
She was there.
I'm telling her right now.
She cried.
Text message. She cried?
Yeah, she cried. She cried while watching Heather's because she was like, her mirror and my dad were right in front of the stage, right in front of me when we had to do the sex scene.
Oh.
And she was like bawling from that point onward, like, oh my gosh, I just saw that. Oh, speaking of which, because I just mentioned sex scene, I would, for acting wise, depending on the context of the show and what certain scenes might entail, I do not want to like take off all of my clothes in a scene for acting. If I have to take off something, like maybe just like one thing, but I don't want to be like completely nude or even like super partially like naked on stage. That would be like a nightmare.
It's a nightmare for me. Being nude in my own house. A effing Space Marine asks, are you like a professional voice actor or is it just a hobby? And if yes, what kind of projects have you done? And if not, why? And also, are you single?
With the voice acting being professional, yes and no. Because, like, I've been paid for voice acting. Like, I have a couple of really consistent gigs that I've had for years that, like, kind of reach out to me and are like, oh, hey, we need you to do this chapter. Oh, hey, it's this episode. Your character's coming back. And, I get paid for them, and some of them pay really, really nicely. But it's not professional in the way where I've done, like, anime or anything on Cartoon Network. Or, I haven't done voice work that you would turn the TV on to and like just see it there. So yes, professionally as in paid, no professionally as in I haven't been on TV or anything. If you want to see more voice act work that I have done, you could look up God Complex. It's an audio drama and I play Hel, which is the Norse goddess of the underworld. And then also on PopTunes TV, which is a big YouTube channel, they have me playing Taylor Swift.
What?
I get paid to make fun of Taylor Swift as Taylor Swift.
You get fun. You're playing Taylor Swift?
Yeah, PopTunes TV, and also they had me do some lines as Hilary Duff and Miranda. What's her face?
Cosgrove?
Miranda Cosgrove. Yes, I was gonna say Miranda sings, and I was like, that's not correct. But yeah, I get PopTunes TV pays me to impersonate several celebrities in their comedy sketches.
It's news to me.
It's
actually.
so
I
funny.
Those.
I'm not even like a big fan of Taylor Swift. Like I could rant about her. I've been trying to be better about it, but it's like hilarious because like I have to play her at the same time.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Rob Allen asks, how did you get to read the part of Lily Madlib and Madwip, and how will you be doing? Will you be doing more of those stories?
I think that's a good that's a question for you. Why did you think of me to play Lily?
You're my go-to. You're my go-to actress for young characters.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
We had this conversation in Texas. I'm your go-to younger girl voice, and Autumn's your go-to older girl
Bingo.
voice.
The
That's so perfect.
yeah, like I've always like it, you two are one of the few people I've worked with. Not to say bad and like anything bad about anybody else I've worked with, because like I've worked with like a lot of actors who were like they're all fantastic, but you guys are the ones specifically I've never had to be. I wouldn't say never. I've almost never had to be like, okay, that was a good take, but let's try it. Let's try doing it, retaking it. Let's try retaking it this way. I didn't really like the way that this character was done, or I didn't really like this. You guys usually, whenever you're acting, you come up with the exact same thing I already have in my head. It's very rarely I've been like, oh yeah, I like that, but can we try changing him? Can we try changing this person? Can you deliver that one more time, just to get a different take, kind of thing. You notice that, like with you're really mad with. There's never been a time for an episode now when I've been like, yeah, can you redo this bit?
Yeah, so, well, I had no idea what it was the first episode, so I was like, I have no idea what Spike is looking for here. But then you said, oh yeah, she's a little girl, like, a little interesting. She sees things that haven't happened yet. And I was like, okay, I guess that's all I need. And I just kind of guessed. I just kind of went for it from then on.
Yeah, you came up with exactly what I wanted. So it's
perfect.
Perfect.
I'm glad. Was there a second part to that question? Did I just totally
that was
over
it? How did you read the part? Will there be doing more? Mad Dog 1974 also asked if there's going to be more. Which you've already answered.
Yes.
As long as you're down to play her again.
There will be. Are we doing the whole thing?
Yeah.
That's a question for you. Oh my gosh, we're going to do this whole thing. I'm so excited.
Devin Orr asks, have you ever played Jump Over the Brick, Duck Duck Brick, or Truth or Brick?
Yeah.
What? What is that?
It's like, Duck Duck Brick. You even played that?
What the heck? No.
Wow, you're weird.
You're lying to me.
Yeah. April Fools.
Philip Romero asks, why did you decide the name Little Ball of Giggles for your YouTube channel?
That's funny that you asked that. I feel like only one person has ever asked this question before. So when I was in elementary school, I was a pretty weird kid. I was like sad but happy all the time. I was happy because I was myself and sad because like no one else liked me. But one of my friends, I think I was like particularly happy and energetic one day. It must have been a really good day on Pokemon or something. But one of my friends, Alana, said, wow, you are just today a little ball of giggles, hugs, and sunshine. And so originally, I think a couple people started calling me that, the people who like weren't bullying me. They would call me like little ball of giggles, hugs, and sunshine. And then I liked how that sounded, but I thought it was too long. And my favorite word in that was giggles. So I just cut the hugs and sunshine part out of that.
Cute.
Thanks.
I never knew that. Well,
oh, that should have been my thing that you didn't know about me if I had only thought of it.
Gaming Objective asks, how are you keeping yourself entertained during this unfortunate time? You kind of answered that a little bit.
Yeah, lots of Animal Crossing. I've played it for 12 hours in the last 6 days. Like 12 hours every day. It's not healthy.
Jeez, yeah. Voyager 2 asks, first, do you watch sports? And if so, what? And second, who are your favorite creepypasta narrators?
I don't watch sports. Therefore, I don't have many favorite... Oh, I like dodgeball. I watch the Olympics. Does that count as a sport?
That is a sport. Yeah, those are all sports.
Okay. I don't really watch I don't watch all the really normal or regular sports. I like watching the ice skating and stuff like that.
Those are sports. That's a sport still.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. It's like the only one that I watch.
Sport, yeah.
Figure skating. That's what it's called. Yeah, I like watching figure skating, but that's only on once a year. And then what was the last one? Who are my favorite creepypasta narrators? I like you a lot. You and Creeps.
Thank you.
Ever since day one. I really enjoyed your guys' narrations and the stories that you bring to life for all of us. And I also really enjoy Corpse. Corpse himself is just such a precious person. I love him to death. And he has a very soothing voice, so I like listening to him.
The deep velvet.
Hey guys. Yeah, I can't even go that deep, but that's my big Corpse impression. Hey guys, it's Corpse.
Cake-faced horror asks, "What's your favorite fictional universe, and what's your favorite brand of toothpaste?"
Oh man, I like Wonderland. Obviously, I'm such a Wonderland girl. And I don't know how many people know this cartoon nowadays, because it's, I guess, by now an older cartoon. It's really cheesy and really stupid. I love Winx Club's Althea. They have a little fairy college, and it's called Althea. And it's just such a cool place, and I wish they like did the show a little more interestingly, because I just love the concept of that fairy school. And my favorite brand of toothpaste, I don't know what it's called, but I like the spearmint or minty. It's like mint, but it's a better version of mint. Thank you.
Okay. There's this favorite fictional universe question actually brought this weird memory to mind, and I'm wondering if you ever seen it. Did you ever watch a movie called Twice Upon a Time?
No, what is that?
A movie from it's like an animated movie from 1983. I want to show it to you later. It's like
Yeah.
surprisingly like it's one of these animations that look like they're done with cardboard cutouts, and it was actually produced by George Lucas. It's like such
that's
like a
funny.
strange like it comes from like Lucasfilm, but it's not something Star Wars related, and it's all like fantasy and nightmares and dreams. It's super weird. It's off topic, but I'll just
I'd be down. We should movie night that and see who else wants to check it out.
Watch it. I thought it was good. It's just weird.
Yeah, sounds interesting.
Waffle Random Derp asks, "What's your passion or favorite hobby besides voice acting?"
Theatrical acting.
Okay, besides acting,
Singing, which is like acting but with song.
Opera. I see.
Yeah, I like opera. I really do love opera. I enjoy concept art, script writing, like pretty much all the creative things. I've even started liking editing a little bit more as of late for the last couple months. So those are fun.
Jerry the Cartoonist asks, "Okay, so sometimes I like to imagine hypothetical scenarios of what another me might be doing in a different reality, basically a multiverse theory. It's fun to imagine that I, the me writing this, am currently being played by an actor from another reality. For example, when you're watching a movie, the characters are often being played by famous celebrities. But the characters in the movie have no idea they're being played by an actor or actress. They're just going along with a story that's being told. So my question is, what do you think the celebrity currently playing you is actually like? For example, I imagine the guy playing me is posh and British, and what genres would you consider your story to be?"
Wow, that is a fascinating question. I feel like you could have a really interesting answer to this too. Okay, so that's so funny that you say that. Recently I've figured that like the best way to like take care of myself, like in terms of exercise and like putting on face masks, because like I hate putting on, not like the sick ones, like the beauty ones. I hate putting beauty masks on. But like it's so funny because the way that I get myself to do those things is I just remind myself that I'm not so much a body with a soul, that I'm more of a soul with a body. So I'm like, when I think of that, I kind of think that my body, my face is like a little prettier than I give myself credit for, because, I have insecurities. But then when I think that way, I'm like, let's take care of you, girl. And, I do all these like things and stuff, and like I take care of myself, and it's nice. And so like when I look at her, when I kind of step outside of myself and I look at her, the reflection, like, I don't know, I think I honestly think that if I had a different upbringing, that she could be like a lot more cynical, a little more mature.
Really?
But also very like much more elegant and classy. She no longer looks like a 16-year-old to people and stuff, but it's just because I'm me that I come across as a lot more youthful than I actually am. But so I was thinking that he was going to ask like what actor would play you, and I was going to be like, oh, Ali'i Carvalho, the voice of Moana, because she reminds me of myself. But like if this body was an actor and like, like we were all kind of outside of ourselves watching this movie, I would feel like her as a person, she'd be like more mature, I guess. Like she knows how to walk in heels, more mature.
Okay, so the last question was a little out there and really wordy. So here's a normal one. Hopefully. Oh, no one, hopefully. Are there any original musicals that you think would make good film adaptations? I asked a similar question about shows, movies making good musicals. Personally, I think Be More Chill, Book of Mormon, and, yeah.
What is it? What's the last one, or how's it spelled? Is it a weird word?
I don't know the proper pronunciation of this, but I know what I want to say. So I'm just gonna send that.
Let me see what it is. Oh, Hadestown.
Okay, that's what I would have said. Would make a good movie if done right, and also a lot of Star Kid productions.
Oh my gosh, that's such a hard question. So I love theater. I'm really biased towards movie adaptions of theater, because if it was like, okay, so like my whole opinion with different stories and scripts is that they all end up in the format, you know, cartoon or video game or film or TV or theater, because that medium suits it the best. You know, not every theatrical production could make it as a cartoon, and not every cartoon could make it as a movie, and not every movie can make it as a musical. You know, the formatting really matters. So I'm really biased when it comes to taking a musical and putting it in a film format, because if it was made for a musical, then it's going to work best if you go in and see it live. Or, I mean, I still watch bootlegs, but you know what I mean. A musical that would make a good movie. That's not again. I can't go back to jail.
FBI will remember
not right now during coronavirus. I would say, let me see. I'm trying to think of an original one that would be good as a movie, but I kind of don't want to say any of them just because I think they belong on stage. Maybe no, I can't do it. No, they all belong on theater. I'm sorry. They all belong on
the
stage.
Book of Mormon is actually a pretty good choice that he said. It's one of those ones where, like, because, like, Trey and Matt have already had, like, experience working with both animation and live action film and film production. I think that's actually a pretty good choice. Like, they would, if anybody would know about adapting something to film, it would definitely be them.
Yeah, that's true. They did work on South Park and other things, so maybe they'd be able to do it.
He's done a lot of movies. Like, Trey Parker's done a lot of movies.
I guess, but like,
outside of
it
South
belongs
Park.
on stage. We can't just rip it from its natural habitat.
But you're not. You're pulling it out of Trey's head still.
I guess
that's the
true.
natural habitat of it. That's where it came from.
But it could only be them. If anybody made a film adaptation of Book of Mormon, it could only be the guys who made it.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of people who are like, oh, I like that musical. Oh, Cats? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Phantom? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Les Mis? Oh, yeah, absolutely. And they take it, and I'm like, this isn't as good as it was on stage.
Did you watch Cats?
We should not lie to ourselves. No, I can't bring myself to it. It looks so weird.
That's what, like, I met up with Drake and his fiance.
No, did they watch it?
His fiance watched it twice, and I was saying, did you watch
No!
it twice because it was good, or did you watch it twice because it was like was like you hadn't have anything to do, or like what was it? And she's like, no, like the first time she watched it because like she really liked. She used to watch like the VHS of Cats, like back when it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
I was like, oh yeah, that's like the only way I'd ever seen it, and she was saying, like, oh yeah, she really wanted to watch it, and the second time it was because like Drake hadn't seen it, and they were supposed to be like watching like one of those like it was in one of those showings where, you know, people are encouraged to heckle the film.
That's amazing.
But she was like, if you want, it's just such something like an experience you have to have, because it's so surreal. Like you feel like it's one of those movies that like it does not feel like this should have ever been made. Like, so it's an anomaly of a film.
Shoot, I love Drake's fiance.
Oh, she's wonderful.
Maybe I have to watch it. Oh shoot, I don't want to watch it, but she did it, and I love her so much.
No, that's the thing is like when I hear that, like, oh, it's an anomaly of a film. Like, it's not good, but like you're not gonna see another movie. Yeah, you are not gonna ever see another movie like that. Like,
I will say that with Cats, one thing that I do respect about them. So I like kind of recently got into Cats, the musical. Like, it's kind of a guilty pleasure. I don't love all of it. There's obviously problems with it as a show, But like some things like Mungo Jerry and Rumpelteazer are my favorites, which are like they're like the twinish looking characters. And in my opinion, in the movie, because I listened to that song, they kind of butchered it because they rearranged it in a way that, in my opinion, it does not make sense. But so one thing that I really love that they did that I really respect is they used a professional ballet dancer from the Royal England Ballet or something like that in England. It's like the Royal something Ballet House where they have like different players come in every season. They just recast. They have a huge cast and they just recycle them every single show. And I love this one guy because I had to buy their Alice in Wonderland ballet and he played a tap dancing Mad Hatter in a ballet. He was tap dancing in a ballet as the Mad Hatter. And I thought that was, and it was like an original piece, the whole ballet. It was like noted to be one of the first ballets in a long time that they made the music for rather than borrow music from. And he was so incredible. I loved him, just how he got into his character, how he didn't even have to speak in order to show his character. He was very inspiring. And he, in the movie Cats, plays Shimbleshanks, the railroad cat. And so I liked that they actually did get some, and they also used another girl who's from the same company as him. I like that they got professional dancers who like really know how to move their bodies in that film since it's a dance show. So that was nice of them at least.
Dang, it's an anomaly. It's an anomaly that we have to see.
I guess I have to put it on my bucket list.
Okay, let's see. I got way pulled off. Where are we? Okay. This is still from Jerry the cartoonist. Do you like playing scary games? And if so, a few suggestions. If not, what type of games do you prefer? I'm guessing Pokemon will probably be in there somewhere.
Was that you or him? Of course. I like scary games. I don't like, I tend to like games that you can linger on, like you come back to and there's progress that's been left from a previous session. So like, I mean, I really liked, I still like Project Zomboid. I consider that a scary game because the sounds really catch you off guard. I don't know if Don't Starve counts. Basically, my favorite kind of genre to play is survival games because I like the idea of making like a little base. It's a lot more fun if there's stakes and everything, which admittedly Animal Crossing does not have, but it's just such a cute, happy, soothing game. I just really like survival games where you can craft and customize things and just make a little world for other people to visit.
And yeah. What happened to Villain Diner?
Oh my gosh, you still remember Villain Diner? Oh my goodness. Villain Diner was like a really, I guess it started off okay, like as a first draft. I could probably retouch it. Spike, if you don't know what Villain Diner is, it's a 10-minute. Oh, you do? Oh my gosh, that's so weird. Oh, well, it's for those who don't know, it's a 10-minute kind of animation that I and a couple of other people got together to make for a class final in voice acting class, actually. And our professor only let us have 10 minutes because there was like 5 people working on it. And so like that like amounted to, that being okay. It was a cute little story about a girl going to a diner and there's villains there and they don't know that she's dating like their arch nemesis. And so it like started off as like this really cute thing. I just kind of wanted to make it for a bunch of different reasons at the time. And then I tried to redo it for theater as a one act about a year ago.
Did it work?
A year and a half ago. It went horribly.
Oh.
Theater was not its formatting. And the only reason why I did it was because my acting professor and mentor was like, I want you to try directing. And I was like, I'm not going to be good at it. And he was like, no, just try it. And I was like, okay, John. And so I was like, geez, I could do this, or Villain Diner. And I picked the worst option. It did not work on stage. The message didn't translate well. In my opinion, I really liked the cast that we got to work with, but because we had such a limited amount of actors coming to the auditions for like 13 other one acts, I'm not saying that they were bad. It's just that I don't think they were the best picks for the characters. And in my opinion, I don't think a lot of them really tried to get the characters, except for like 2 people. So they were cool. But also the costumes weren't great because they're supposed to be villains. And so they weren't dressed as extravagantly, or not extravagant. That's kind of the wrong word, but they weren't they didn't have like, in my opinion, like costumes that translated everything. So I don't know. It just I wanted to revamp it. Theater was not the right way to redo it. Maybe I'll do it in a different way in the future, but probably in the distant future.
And
Yikes.
yeah. If the quarantine lifts, will you still be going to cons or waiting until it's for sure safe? Whatever your answer is, stay safe.
I would love to go to a con when it lifts, but like the only one that I really go to, because like all my con friends, you know, are you guys. Like, you know, we always meet up in Texas because that's where everybody goes and lives. And yeah, I would rather, like, if it's like really close to San Japan, then I'll be like, okay, great, you know, I could go over there. And if I get stuck in Texas for a little bit, hey Spike, can I sleep in one of your guys' rooms? Or can I stay on the stairs?
You can't anymore.
like
That's
that.
Matt's spot. I'm sorry.
No,
Matt's
it's not
spot.
Matt's
He already
spot.
claimed it.
Hylas knows.
He claimed it.
Hylas scratched Matt up.
Did he really?
Yeah, one time, that's what Matt said.
I don't believe it.
And Matt was like, it's not my spot. It's not your spot anymore. It's the Matt spot.
I don't
no,
believe
but
Matt.
it's the Giggles
He did.
spot. Were you there? I said one really bad thing one time where I said, no, it's not the M spot. It's the G spot.
I was not there for that, no.
It was so, because I think we were all playing Project Zomboid, and he was teasing me about that again, how it was the Matt spot and not the Giggles spot, and I was like, no, it's not the M spot, it's the G and then everybody laughed. It was bad wording.
Well,
but yes, I would totally go to a con. Hopefully it would be like completely safe, you know, we would all be like at less exposure by that time. But yeah, I would hope to go to a con as soon as it's safe, you know, if San Japan is around that corner.
okay. Randomdragon.exe asks, when did you first get into creepypastas?
Oh, like just in general? I want to say when I was about 15. I have always loved horror, from Goosebumps to like Courage, you know, when I was a kid, and like Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark and a bunch of other things as I got older. And then when I was 15, a boy in the grade below me was like, oh, you gotta watch this movie called Nightmare on Elm Street. And it was all downhill from there. I loved Freddy Krueger. I watched all of the Scream movies at the time, and I just loved horror. And so when I discovered creepypasta like Slender Man and Laughing Jack, and or I guess Laughing Jack came a little bit later at the time, I liked this really old one that people don't like talking about anymore called Dr. Smiley. Because there's a lot of controversy surrounding that, but I loved that when I was younger. So, yeah, about 15, maybe 14.
I don't remember Dr. Smiley.
I liked Dr. Smiley.
Do you like to watch?
I think Junior did a good one.
Nice.
Oh, sorry?
I was going to say, like, I think that you already answered this one, basically, but do you watch any scary movies? And if so, what's your favorite horror movie or favorite franchise?
You mean, what's your favorite scary movie? Yeah, I would say I like Wes Craven's bad guys there, because they're, like, kind of... Like, they got powers sometimes, or they're just really mysterious, but they're still, like, mortal, or, like, you know, you can otherwise defeat them. Yeah. So I really like Scream and A Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, those are my favorite ones.
What's your favorite color?
White.
Is it really?
Yeah, because white represents purity and innocence and wisdom. And also, to me, like, it's the first thing you see when you look at a piece of paper, so it, like, represents potential to me.
Oh. Sure.
Yeah.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Musical theater.
I don't know what I expected there.
That's the answer to everything.
Are you a cat person or a dog person, or do you like both? You can't say
I'm a
bird.
person. I can't say bird?
Are you a cat
Is that what
person,
you
a
said,
dog person, or both?
I guess I like cats more.
Good. I know you like to draw, but what other forms of art do you enjoy doing? I think you've already said theater, so I guess, is there any other things you do?
Yeah, theater, that's an art form. I sing. I don't really like apply this too much because it's not needed a whole lot, but every now and then I like doing a bit of ballet in the morning, and that's really nice. And They said don't mention sketching or
No,
something?
it says they knew that you like doing like to draw, but like, what other forms
To
besides
draw, yeah.
drawing?
So other art
Yeah.
forms. Oh my gosh, I really like. Oh my gosh, how do I typography? I used to do that quite a little bit, and calligraphy. I liked that. Every now and then I revisit them. I like those.
And I see. What kind of video games do you like to play? You like Super Mario games?
Already
you already
answered.
answered that one. Well, do you like Super Mario games? That's new. You played Super Mario games, or you've not really been like your?
Yeah, I like them. They're okay. I like the old ones more than the new ones. Oh my gosh, I realized that I'm officially an old fart now, because before the quarantine, I helped at church every other Sunday with the kids, and before their little Sunday church starts, they have there's like a corner where you could play on a game console, and it's always like the same Mario game, and they have like this new mushroom that turns you into like Cat Mario.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't get it. And like all the kids know exactly how to play it. And I'm sitting there like, how are you youngsters playing this? Like back in my day, we just had raccoon and the fire mushroom and and I'm like, I don't know how to play this game.
You're not old enough.
What do you mean I'm not old
you didn't
enough?
Play Super Mario Brothers 3.
No, I played Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. Okay, then why would you think that the only thing you can have is the raccoon suit?
Oh well, I was making fun of. I wasn't trying to say it exact on.
Did you forget about
the
boot?
But as a kid, I barely got the frog in the boot.
The boot?
Because I couldn't figure it out when I was little.
Yeah, and then you forget like about Meowser.
Meowser.
Cat
no,
Bowser.
That's a new thing. That's not an old thing.
Yeah, it was.
I remember when Bowser had like 7 or 8 children rather than Koopa Kid.
Oh, Bowser Jr. Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
had the Koopa Kids that was from Super Mario Bros. 3. And then they were also in Super Mario World.
They were cool.
And then he just decided to smash them all together into one child.
Okay, is the pink thing in Super Mario 2, is that Birdo? Like, is that
Birdo,
confirmed? Yeah. Okay, because I always thought that ever since Mario Party, which I loved, but I was like, I just don't know. So I had to know.
Yeah, that's Birdo.
You would be the person to ask about that. I'm glad.
That was the one
She's
Birdo
so
came
cute.
from. But Super Mario Bros. 2 is not really like... It's not really considered a canonical game because it wasn't a Mario game. It was something else. And they made it a Mario game.
Isn't it supposed to be like a dream?
Say what?
Isn't it supposed to be like a dream? Like one of the characters is dreaming?
Yeah, I think that's what they kind of made. Like, that's what it is. But it's...
That's so funny.
Yeah, I think it was like another game, but then they were like, they moved it to the US, but they didn't think it would sell, so they gave it a different brand so that we would buy it.
Ouch.
Yeah, it was like, yeah, people aren't going to buy this game they've never heard of, so we just rebrand it, and they'll buy it that way.
I still count it as one of those, like, it just belongs with all the other Mario games. But honestly, growing up, I was more of a Sonic person because my grandma played it all the time.
Oh, no, same. This is a question for me. Have you
Yeah.
seen the new Sonic movie yet? It
No.
came out on digital today. It's really good.
I do kind of want to see it to enjoy Jim Carrey.
It's a very, very good movie. Like, and Sonic is wonderful.
I guess I got to give
Sonic
it a try.
is wonderful in that movie. He's such a good character.
Who voices him? Is it Roger Craig Smith still?
No, it's a new. There's a new person they have doing the voice of
There's
Sonic.
a new... Dang. Oh, okay, well, did they use the same guy that was already on him?
Wait, say what? New guy who was already
Like,
on him?
yeah, like, there was like what was his name? Jason Anthony Griffith, which was like Sonic X and the games around that time. And then it was Roger Craig Smith, who I think also did Assassin's Creed. There was a new voice actor after Roger Craig Smith?
Yes. Okay, so
For the games?
you're talking about, because Roger Craig Smith did for Sonic Boom.
Generations, Colors?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, yeah, he did do Sonic Boom.
Yeah, the guy for the movie is different, I want to say.
Oh, shoot! So they didn't use...
No.
Why didn't they... Roger Craig Smith was already Sonic. He was already on him.
Okay, look, there have been like 8 people doing the voice of Sonic. There is no person you can be like, but that's Sonic. No, there is no that Sonic unless you want to go and bring back friggin' Jaleel.
Whoa!
Steve
know, to
Urkel
me,
would
like-
be the only one I could come back and be like, okay, yeah, that was the voice of Sonic. Urkel is Sonic the
no.
Hedgehog for sure. But like,
Not Steve Urkel.
he was the voice of Sonic in the 90s cartoons, both of them.
I know, but Jason Anthony Griffith was my Sonic.
But that's the problem.
Roger Craig Smith is fine, but Jason was my Sonic.
That's your boomer level that's up there. That's like telling you that has to be
wow. You boomer. You just said Steve Urkel. Your boomer level is going
No,
up.
because I'm perfectly fine accepting somebody new.
Fine.
But
that's cool. I just was curious.
No, the new voice is really wonderful. The Sonic character is really wonderful, and they do like a nice little spin on the comic book lore.
Oh, that's nice.
Instead of just the like Sonic X, whatever new lore the Sonic X setup. But no,
that's really cool.
It's a good movie. It's out on digital today. Check it out. Everybody else, check it out.
I probably will eventually.
Do you like to read, and who's your favorite author?
I have to kind of be in a mood to read. I guess that's answering the question. Just kind of have to be in a mood.
You have a favorite?
I love, oh my gosh. I'm like looking at my books right now. I enjoy C.S. Lewis. You know, that's the very stereotypical churchy answer. But the reason why I like C.S. Lewis is he wrote this great book called The Screwtape Letters. And personally, I feel like I could really relate to C.S. Lewis because he, like, a devout Christian, he writes very differently. Like, his Christian books aren't always like, in order to be a better Christian, you need to do X, Y, and Z. No, they're all stories. Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, that's one of his. Everybody knows that one, Prince Caspian, things like that. All of his books are, instead of like self-help books, they're kind of more like big stories. And if there's a point that he wants to make about God, he incorporates it in the story so that if you want to see it, you'll see it. If you're just there to enjoy the story, you can just enjoy the story. And I really appreciate that it's something that everybody can read. And the reason why I bring up Screwtape Letters is because I like how ballsy that book is. So C.S. Lewis, a devout Christian man, writes Screwtape Letters, which, if you know the Screwtape Letters, it's about a demon, not just any demon. Screwtape is like the head dean or something. He's like some big authority figure in a college in hell where they get younger demons and teach them how to be good demons and, mess people up and stuff and like cause a bunch of bad things and everything. But the way that they speak about their goal, it's all like letters to his nephew Wormwood, who's like a wimp and doesn't know how to be a good demon, and he's like telling him that he's got to like man up and go out there and do it. The way that these characters speak is they think that they're doing the right thing, and that they can't risk anybody else like following God. And so I think that that's like such a ballsy, taboo, fantastic thing that a strong Christian could write, because I think a lot of other Christian authors would be really afraid of writing that. And so I really respect C.S. Lewis. It was a great book. I really enjoyed the characters, and I hate that I can say that because they were just so well done. I gotta read that book again. I have it right here. Screwtape Letters. Yeah, love it. C.S. Lewis, bomb. He's the best.
Okay.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
And what's your favorite wild animal?
Wild animal? Oh, I recently went to Australia, and we saw peacocks. I think they're so interesting. They're like fabulous, but they just walk around, they're just being themselves. They're fabulous.
Alrighty. Mako5 asks, pepperoni on pizza. I think you've already answered that. You do. You're one of those heathens. Pepperoni on pizza?
Yeah.
Oh, pineapple on pizza.
Pepperoni and pizza.
Pineapple on pizza.
Yes.
That's pepperoni. Thinking about the fact, I can't get my head around the fact that you also have your pineapple on your pepperoni.
Not all the time. I can only I just like mostly plain pepperoni on pizza, but every now and then I'm like, I could have a little bit of pineapple right now. That would be good.
As a student and actor of theater, would you consider professional wrestling as a form of theater?
Well, I'm no longer a student of theater. I have graduated technically.
Student and actor.
But
you've graduated, but you were always a student of the theater.
Okay, I guess that's true. I took it. I didn't think of it that way. Professional wrestling. I do believe that wrestling is another form of theater. Having said that, I would never do it. I don't think I could play that kind of role.
You don't think so?
No.
I would love to see you as a wrestler, like you with your little 4
I can't play.
foot 4.
That's so out of my range. No way.
What are some good shows you can recommend to binge on during the downtime?
Oh my gosh, American Vandal and it's season 2. And then The Witcher, that was a really good show. I'm surprised I actually watched it because there was quite a lot of nudity. Just a warning if anybody who doesn't want to see that goes to see it. It was a great story. I just particularly wasn't fond of the nudity, especially when it wasn't plot related. It's fine if it's plot related, but it wasn't most of the time. And The Circle was really good. That's more of a reality comedy show where like all these people get in this special building in Chicago, and they all have like their own little place, and they're all talking to each other over this special social media thing just for this show. So the idea is like the person who is most popular and well liked among all the other players gets all the money at the end. But the thing is some of them are catfishing, and they all, don't talk to each other face to face. So it's really interesting and hilarious to see all the shenanigans that they get into. I really liked The Circle. Those are all on Netflix.
Neat.
Yeah.
Okay. I have not seen. I've only watched Witcher, so those are all things I'm gonna have to put on my list.
You got to see American Vandal, man. I'll watch it with you. It's so funny.
Right. Has there ever been a role that you've
Yeah.
done, acting, voice, or physical wise, that you've ever regretted doing?
Yes,
Really?
yes, there is.
Who? What?
um, so this is, I don't really regret any theater roles, but this was a voice acting one. It was kind of in the middle because it was like a musical, but it was a voiceover of that musical. So I got cast as Janet in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, just for a vocal cover, but we were doing all the dialogue and stuff too for it. And I had to learn a naughty scene. And I was like, I don't think that'll be that bad because it's just voice acting. I can't, I don't have to take off a bunch of clothes. Like, I could never play Janet on stage. She's a little too much for me, like getting down to just bra and underwear. Like, I'd rather have like a skirt or pants on or something at least. But she's a little too much for me. But having said this, I was just doing her as like the voice parts of her role. So I had gone to school and I was going to record because, I didn't want to record that at home, God forbid. So I went to school. We have a great music building where you can secure a practice room with a piano and, practice in it. So I just booked one of them and I recorded in there for a long time. And I had to make some naughty sounds, and I did. And then I think the next time that I came back to that building, like there were like extra measures on how to book a room. And I was like, oh, wow, what happened? Like, like last time you could just walk in and stuff last time I was here. And then some of the people that were like managing them were like, oh, well, we started hearing a bunch of people like having sex in all the rooms. So we had to like take extra measures.
Oh, no.
And so I think that I contributed to that because which I don't know if that's good or bad because that either means I'm just a really great actress, but that also means that's just not a good thing to act out. So I was like, oh no. So that was a big regret because I helped contribute to that system being a little more cynical.
Oh, no. Oh.
But also, I think the thing that sucks about that is I never saw the finished product. So I'm kind of thinking, oh, shoot, what if like this person just cast me for, what are the odds? I don't want to think selfishly, but it's kind of a paranoia where I was like, what if that person just cast the girl parts just to like hear their sounds or something? I don't know. So I kind of regret that just because I haven't even heard back from them after that. So it was just a little sketchy. But, everybody watch out. I'm glad it wasn't anything more than that, but it's still a little weird. But it was years ago, so I'm over it. It was just a very strange experience.
Are you a fan of spicy foods?
No, but my mom is. And Spike, can I tell you a story?
Sure.
It's a quick one. So I bought this really spicy thing in Australia for my mom because she's a heat seeker. It was like a $12 thing of Australian dollars. So for me, it was like $7, I think, for like this like really hot thing. It had like Reaper and ghost pepper and like, a lot of crazy stuff in it. I brought it home for my mom and she tries just a little bit of it, falls in love with it. And she has like a lot of it for like the rest of the day. And then that night she gets sick. Like this was like last week. She gets sick and she's in the bathroom and she's in there for a really long time. And so I was like, Mom, are you okay? And she was like, no. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, my mom like might have coronavirus or something. And she was like, I can't get up. She was like, I need you to go get your dad and have him carry me to the couch. And so I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, for sure. So I stayed calm and I told Dad, and he was like, seriously? And I was like, yeah, you got to go home, Mom. So he goes, he ended up being able to help her to her feet, and she was able to walk herself to the couch, but we were really freaked out. We thought that she was suffering from coronavirus. It turns out she just had too much of the spicy thing that it made her that sick and took out all of her energy. And so when we read the back of it, it was like, use sparingly.
What is that thing you got?
I don't know. It was like super hot. It's only because she had it like 3 times that day in like horrible big amounts. It was like Reaper, ghost pepper. It was like a bunch of hot stuff meshed together.
It's like a chili extract or a...
Yeah, there is that in it too. There's a lot.
Yeah, you're not supposed to take that like directly.
She had a lot of it. Well, she puts it like, on stuff, of course, but she had like so much of it that day that she got so sick. And I'm glad that it was that and, not anything more serious, but she really freaked us out.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I'm glad that I did not inherit my mom's love for spicy things. I couldn't handle it.
Have you ever been in a spooky or paranormal situation?
Yeah. Spike, do you remember that story I was telling you and Muji and Bo at Disneyland in the line for Haunted Mansion?
I don't remember, no.
It was the one about the little door.
Yes, I do.
When I opened it, there was nothing there. Yeah. So guys, there is a creepypasta I did. Maybe I should redo it now. It's called The Little Door. And I think I have a compilation video of it. That was a true story from my grandmother's house in San Diego. And that was a really freaky experience. But I look back on it very fondly.
Yeah. You should redo it now that you're bringing this up. That would be...
Yeah, I think I should redo it. That would be fun.
Or to redo.
Yeah, I should live stream it, maybe.
Say what?
I should live stream it, maybe. That'd be interesting. I haven't really done a live stream.
That would be a good, actually.
Yeah.
Can you please... Oh, from Molly Hayes. Molly Hayes asks, can you please do a voice acting tips video and talk about how to get started for beginners? And do you play any video games on the PS5 or... I'm guessing the PS4 or Xbox?
Yeah, actually, I've been wanting to do tips for theater and for voice acting, just because I think that that's really good for anybody who might be curious. I'm glad that you asked, though, because sometimes I get a little self-conscious about that, and I'm like, does anybody really want tips? Am I, like, just tooting my own horn here? It doesn't look like I'm bragging. But if you guys want it, then, yeah, I would love to share what I know and what I've learned and how I do things with you guys. And what was the last part of that question?
Play
PS4,
on PS4
5?
or Xbox?
PC. I'm that person.
You say that just because you don't have a PS4 or an Xbox.
I don't need or want a PS4 or Xbox.
You can't play with us PS4 people. We're playing all the cool games.
I used to play GameCube.
Nintendo person. Nintendo fanboy. Mount Bruce Lee fan asks, we got this one. How old are you? You already answered.
24. Yep.
Have you ever thought about doing something but you realize you can't do it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Who doesn't? For name, there was a French opera that I really liked a couple years back called The Dolls of Hoffmann. And there's a song called the Doll Song, very famous aria, played by a character named Olympia. She's like an automaton, like a toy doll kind of, that comes to life and sings. And then it's funny, in the middle of her song, she like breaks down and like she has to be wound up back again. And then she springs back to life all mechanical like and starts singing again. And she's a hilarious, adorable character. And I was like, oh man, I love her. I gotta be her one day. And I put her, like, I printed out pictures of her and put her in my Dream Rolls book and everything. So, that's like permanent. And then at some point I realized maybe I can't sing quite as high as she can, which is saying a lot. Because, like, Spike, you've heard how high I can sing. I can sing pretty high. I'm a soprano, but she has, like, full-on whistle register. She can sing that high. And I hate admitting it. I can't sing as high as she can. So that's just one that you got to take gracefully. And I just have to admit and realize and embrace that I can't really play Olympia. But I can appreciate her. She's a great character.
You already answered this one. What's your hobbies? Do you have a specific genre of movies that you like? So I guess, yeah. What specific genre of movies? You've mentioned the hobbies before.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on what I'm feeling like. I've realized that lately, like, I'm not a big fan of a lot of like romantic movies or rom-coms just because I want the adventure and I want like horror and I want fantasy and other things that have more of a plot. So I've been after more of those, like horror, fantasy, stuff like that. I think those would be my favorite. And comedies. Comedies are great too.
And do you have a okay, you already answered this one. You have a specific book you like to read. You did answer that.
Mm-hmm.
If God granted you a wish, what would you wish for?
Well, God, and like, with all due respect, I know you didn't mean it this way, friend, but I don't believe that God, like, is a genie. You know, God doesn't grant wishes. But I talk to him every day and I pray and stuff and I ask for things. I guess if I had to pray for something that with 100% guarantee, like, I would get it, it would be probably to make it, have a successful career on stage, which I still pray for. But you know, there's like God's the storyteller, so it's all up to him and whatever the next chapter holds.
Okay, Adam Garcia asks, when you got when you first got into narrating, was it hard with stories that had curse words in it?
It was, you know, as a younger narrator and just like a person who didn't have like too much support on the idea of narrating creepypasta, I was like, oh man, does that mean I should just not tell this story at all? Or like, can I ask the author and be like, hey, is it okay if I leave out this word and maybe like substitute it or just not say it at all? And that ended up being the answer. If I'm really uncomfortable with saying something, I usually just ask the author. And pretty much every time I've asked, they've said, like, oh, yeah, yeah, that's fine. I don't care if you don't read the bad words.
Okay, and if you had $3 million and an all expense paid trip to anywhere in the world, where would you go?
I'd like to see, well, I was already going to go on a trip to Europe, and then coronavirus decided to happen. I really would love to go to Italy, and I don't know if my viewers know this yet. I recently got my German citizenship because my dad's side of the family had to escape there from the Holocaust back in my grandma's youth. So I'd really like to experience that side of my heritage and visit Germany finally with my fancy new German passport where they told me not to smile in the picture. So that would be nice. And just, I would like to run around Europe. Seeing Greece would be really nice, eating pasta and whatnot.
Okay,
Things
and
like that.
another thirst question of are you single?
Another thirst question. Wow.
YTSSB
That's so
Sonic
funny.
asks, if you were a voice actor in an animated show or movie, who would you voice act? Who would you want to?
In an animated what movie?
An animated show or movie.
Oh. I don't know. That's kind of hard to say. Like, what character? Like, what kind of character? I'd want to be I'd want to be like a good guy, like, you know, that maybe main character's best friend, or I like playing manic pixie dream girls. I think I really thrive in playing characters like that. Not that they're all I want to be, but I think I do a good job at them. So yeah, those like quirky, interesting, weird characters, I think I could do a good job playing in an animation. Ramona Flowers. I don't want to be Ramona.
I was gonna say Ramona Flowers is also very lack
Punky.
emotion in a lot of that role.
Yeah, but she's still interesting and quirky. You know, she like dyes her hair all the time and she runs around and does like her crazy delivery girl things.
Yeah, she's not really like she's Pixie Dream Girl without the manic.
Yeah, she's not like the typical manic pixie dream girl, but she also kind of had a hand in originating that idea.
Okay, where did you get the name Little Ball of Giggles, which we went through? Okay,
I already
and
answered.
this
Yep.
is the final one. I like this one.
Oh my.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate yourself?
How would I rate myself?
Yes.
Like as a person? Oh shoot!
It says, here's a little message for you in celebration of your 7K subscribers. Celebration. Giggles, you are the best YouTuber I could ever watch in my life, and you are such a caring person. I remember you by reacting to your I remember you by reacting to your creepypasta stories, and your voice acting is just incredible. You know you belong in this world, and life is too short.
Oh, that was sweet. That's very warm and fuzzy. I guess to answer the question, it's so funny they said the reactions to
Yeah.
creepypasta. Oh my gosh. Rating myself as a person, I don't know. I feel like people are gonna like say something objective, like, no matter what I say. I don't know. I'll give myself a solid 5 because I think I'm a good person and I think that I am considerate, but I could also be a better person. Like, I could be really selfish and
No,
stuff and lazy
too
too.
hard on yourself.
So, and maybe rude or inconsiderate, or, I just want to be more mindful. I think I could improve myself as a
Too hard on
person.
yourself. You're at the very least an 11.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Spike. I appreciate it. Was that the
That
last
is the last
question?
question. That is your
Well,
whole
thanks so
Q&A.
much for reading all the questions to
Yeah.
me, MrCreepyPasta.
Yeah.
Thank you so much,
Congratulations on
and
your
thanks to
17.
everybody for. Thank you. Yeah, thanks to everybody for like helping me get to 7K. I was like stuck at 1K for a really long time, so it's like really nice to live to see this. And yeah, thanks everybody for asking questions, and thanks Mr. Creepypasta for being here.